Hello, my name's Nicholas, and I'm doing a documentary for a thing I made. So basically, why I like power lines is about why I like power lines. I made it to try and explore and find out for myself why I like power lines. Yeah, I tried to make a similar project last semester for Media 102, alternative cinemas, but it never really happened. It was similar to this, but instead of explaining why he likes power lines, or the protagonist comes to the realization that he hates power lines. But I wanted to make this documentary for a few reasons, just to discuss my projects, how they are birthed, and how they are made, and how I could improve that and become a better filmmaker. Another reason is that I wanted to redeem the other project that I tried to make but didn't end up finishing. Oh, why the fuck would you film power lines?
Eat a chicken, look for the flower.
When I started the project, I didn't really know where to go with the writing. I was really unsure as to what to talk about and how to start it, which happens a lot with a lot of my talking projects. But I told myself that I would just write down whatever came to mind, even if I thought it was garbage, and that I would fix it afterwards. But I never ended up writing a second version because I actually kind of ended up liking what I wrote. I thought it was funny enough and it got the message across. Pretty much everything I say in the project is true and it was drawn from my life. I did love power lines as a kid and I did pretend that little skater dudes rode in them, and I do love little skater dudes to this day. The poem was just me writing down power lines, power and lines in random orders, and then I just freestyled it pretty much. Nicholas and Nicholas in Yellow are two characters that I've made before I even started uni, and then I developed them a little bit in uni. I really like writing them. They're my favorite to write because they're very fun and they're pretty much just accentuated versions of me, I guess. I didn't actually know why I liked power lines when I first started filming, and I was talking to my partner, and they said that they reminded them of penises, and so I was like, yeah, I guess that's it. That makes sense. I like penises a fair bit. At first I was a bit apprehensive. I was like, I probably shouldn't make it my whole thing about penises, but then I was like, it's an important topic, sexuality. So yeah, let's discuss it, even if it is just coming out or whatever. I don't know what that is. With the filming, I just started filming one day. Power lines. I was just walking around in my area and saw some nice power lines. I had my camera with me and started filming them. That was pretty easy. And then I started driving around and looking out for places that had good power lines, which is where I crashed my car. I was filming as I rear-ended someone, which was embarrassing and the worst. Filming Nicholas in Yellow is always fun as well. I started with Nicholas in Yellow, did all of his lines, then I did Nicholas's lines, got into character, all that, and I think I ran over Nicholas in Yellow's again, just to fix some of the responses, because I do kind of improvise a teeny tiny bit with them too, just to make things fit, because it is me talking to myself. I get the lines wrong, or I think of better ways to word it.
Yeah, just the power lines. I just wanted to film them, if that's alright. Yeah? No?
For the music, for the opening monologue slash poem, I got 1 minute of improvised piano by In Love with a Ghost, and I've chopped it up so it fits the dialogue, fits the poem, and what I'm saying. You can see over here in the opening part, power lines. The camera moves in time with the dialogue, and also the first happens just before it, kind of in time with it in the song. Happens again, we get a piano beat. Lines. On lines. Lines. Kind of a smooth lines. Break lines. From the harshness power. Of the previous lines. Shots. Lines. Over here, I put technically three piano notes in time with the power lines. Lines, power lines. For the lettering, I used masks to hide different words, which was an effective way. And the quickest way I've found so far, because I've done this a couple times and it's always tricky, but this was really effective, and it still keeps all the masks in place, which is very handy. These little montage type things are pretty fun for me to film. They're super easy. I just go out and I film lots of stuff and edit it together. I don't use all the footage that I film, but I use most of it. Sometimes I wish that I had a steadier hand, but that's something I have to work on. This video, I think, was sped up as well as being being stabilized because it's very shaky in the original. I did that with a few of my shots. Most of the time it works pretty well, and the glitches kind of look cool anyway. I didn't do much color grading with here because they were both filmed at pretty much the same time, and the lighting's pretty dang good. This whole section was meant to have a fair bit more of Nicholas pacing around the house, trying to figure out what's wrong with him and why he likes power lines. But I ended up not filming it because I ran out of time, and also I just didn't think it needed much more. I really like it. It's funny, it's me, and it counts as another addition to the Nicholas and Yellow franchise. So people will stop nagging me to make more Nicholas and Yellow stuff. There are, of course, a few issues, like the out of sync bit near the end. It doesn't go as intensely as the last power lines related thing that I made, which I think is okay because that one's kind of intense because it was meant to have a angry story, whereas this one's kind of got a positive story. It's dumb. Yeah, it's not super groundbreaking as far as plot and plot details and stuff. It's pretty much just a gay realization story adapted for art realization and crammed into 5 minutes. But I'm fine with that. I think that's kind of cool. And the message that embracing mixing sexuality and art is a pretty great message. Power lines.